and thanks for joining me. What a winter this has been. Never in my life did I picture a February looking like this. With this beautiful weather we've had here in Datca Turkey, I thought it'd be nice to take you around to see what we've been up to this last week. The annual Datca Almond Blossom Festival has wrapped up for the year, but during the festivities, a nearby space was open to the public that I've walked past many times but had yet to see the inside of. The Coa Ev Mansion is located in Reşadiye and is tucked into the back of this charming little Turkish village. It classifies itself as a museum hotel and offers 5 acres of beautiful grounds for guests to explore. The mansion dates back to the early 1800s and apparently is known for its wall paintings and woodwork. It's one of the oldest mansions of its kind on the Aegean coast of Turkey. The property was restored starting in the early 2000s and is now quite luxurious. In fact, Condé Nast Traveler magazine even described one of the rooms here as being one of the top 10 hotel rooms in the world that you absolutely have to stay in. Unfortunately, the interior of the mansion wasn't opened at this time for viewing, as it was currently out of season, but we were still able to explore the beautiful grounds which feature plenty of pathways surrounded by lush landscaping. The grounds were so beautiful even at this time in February, so I can only imagine it gets more beautiful as the summer months come. One day, on the way to the Hızırşah village nearby, we stopped at a historical church that we didn't even know existed until now. This church was built in 1890 and would have been in use until the Greek and Turkish population exchanges of the 1920s. It's the only church on the Datca Peninsula. And today the church no longer has any religious functions, but it operates as a cultural center for the city. The church inside is rather bare on the walls, but apparently this is typical of churches of this time since frescoes weren't painted on the walls, but rather religious figures were painted on canvases. Although the church is quite small, there was a lot of information posted around to read on the various historical places of interest on the peninsula. Meanwhile, back at home, our lemon tree has been bursting with fruit. We're lucky to have a mandarin, orange, and lemon tree in our tiny bocce, and while the mandarin and oranges have finished producing fruit for the season, this lemon tree was ready to go. We actually use quite a bit of lemon in our household. My husband doesn't like many dressings and condiments, but a go-to for us is olive oil and lemon juice. And I also love a good lemon poppy seed bread, so I thought I'd whip one up on this day and make use of these lemons. Even though some of the lemons still have a bit of green on them, they taste great and are nice and juicy. All of the lemon trees are full right now around here, and I noticed that other ones started to ripen before ours in our yard, and the same was true for the oranges and mandarins, and I'm not sure why that is. I've never grown citrus trees before, but I sure do like to enjoy them when they're ripe. The loaf pan I wanted to use for this was already in use, so I used a slightly larger one, and the bread didn't turn out quite as thick as it normally does, but it still tasted great. I know myself well, and if I left this whole thing at home, I'd end up eating it all by myself, so I plated some up and took it over for our neighbors to enjoy. Evenings in Datca tend to be my favorite part of the day. I like being out when the sun is a little less harsh and the cool evening air starts to set in. Walks in the countryside here are so pleasant and peaceful this time of year, prior to the chaos of summer. Being around too many people during the busy season can be tiring. Although many of the well-known vacation spots I've visited in Turkey are beautiful, seeing them in summer can take a bit of the fun out of it. There are many foreign and domestic tourists alike in Turkey during the summer months, and I get an overwhelming sense of it being too crowded compared to other places I've traveled to. I'm not sure why it's like that in Turkey especially. So being able to experience Datça in the off-season is a real treat, and I don't think any of its beauty is lost during the winter. I hope you enjoyed this little look around Datca. I appreciate you sticking around until the end. And if you'd like to see more from my perspective as an American living in Turkey, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and giving this video a thumbs up. Until next time, thanks!